Hello everyone, Beate here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to spot low quality versus high quality clothing pieces. This is going to be easier for you to do in person in comparison to online, but you can definitely do some work online, but still probably have to inspect the item when you have it in your hands and right in front of you. Because obviously the one that is photographed is not going to be the one that ends up in your hands, and also the photography on a website will show the best pieces and best parts of an item and typically won't show any flaws if there's attention to detail from the brand and the photographer and so forth. I want to encourage you to start developing a mindset where you rather buy less things of high quality that you know fits you well, the color suits your skin, everything is just on point, in comparison to buying a lot of cheap things that is really of low quality and you're just going to throw out. I think if you do that, you will also add more value, like personal value, to the pieces that you own, and you will probably also take better care of them. If you want to know how to take care of your clothing, I've made a couple of videos. I'll have them linked down below. But without further ado, let's pop in and look at some of the things that you can look out for. You want to make sure that the shoulder seams match up, especially when you have something like a pattern or a stripe going from the chest area through onto the arms. If these lines don't match up on the shoulder seams, it's going to reflect badly. You might not notice it at first if you don't have a trained eye, but as soon as you know this, I promise you, you will start noticing it more and more. Sometimes brands can attempt to have it match up, and I find it even more frustrating when it's like off by a few millimeters instead of just, deliberately not matching up. So really have a look at this. When it's a very small busy pattern, something that I'm wearing today, it doesn't have to be matched up in that way, but especially with something very deliberate like a bold stripe, this needs to match up. The trimmings of clothing is very important. Trims include everything like fastenings, buttons, zippers, and so forth. So let's jump into buttons first. A button can very easily show you the quality of an item and the care that was put into the design and the workmanship of each garment. If buttons are not sewn on properly, they will fall off and will just cause a hassle for you. Most of you probably watching might not even have like a needle and thread at home so that you can sew it on. So it's like an entire effort of taking it in and having that button sewn on again. So it might just end up in some corner of your closet where you don't wear it. So rather go for an item that is sewn on properly in the first place. The type of button can also make a very big difference. So have a look at buttons next time when you're shopping. Once you start noticing high quality versus low quality, it's something that can't go unseen. If brands want to go the extra mile, they will have covered buttons. That is where the button is actually covered in the fabric that the garment is made out of. This adds a really special touch. If you can, like, even peep underneath and make sure it's done properly, because some fast fashion brands try and do this in order to mimic that of high brands, but then I've seen that the fabric around the button, on top of the button, can come loose, and once that is loose, that is not something a tailor can easily fix for you, because obviously it's covered in that fabric, so where will they find the fabric to cover the button again? If you get what I'm saying, this is not really going to work. And they will probably include an extra button when you buy the item, and have a little jar somewhere, little box that you can put all of these buttons into, because I promise you, once that button comes loose and maybe even falls off without you noticing, you will be so extremely happy if you've saved that button somewhere and you can sew it back on again. Onto zippers. Zippers are extremely crucial in clothing because of course it allows you to get in and out of the garment seamlessly. So you want to be able to use that zipper for a really long time, and you don't want it to strip, break, come loose, the threads even pull loose from the item, because that is going to limit you from wearing that item over and over again. Of course, you can always replace zippers. So if a zipper breaks, please don't think it's the end of that garment. Something like a tailor or a seamstress maybe even some laundry places can replace that zipper for you. Just make sure that they have some, you know, expertise, or that they will work neatly. But you can definitely replace a zipper. But if we're talking about the type of zippers, if you can find items with a YKK zipper, this is an indication that they paid more in order to put that piece together by including a high quality zipper. YKK is definitely the zipper of choice within the industry worldwide. Of course, you will find other high quality zippers, but that is a brand that you can spot very easily, and you will know that zipper will function for a very long time. And then the last thing with zippers, I haven't seen a lot of that recently. I think it's more because it's maybe a little bit childlike and in younger pieces of clothing. But whenever you have a painted or covered zipper, I would avoid buying that, because with wearing and washing off that garment piece, the coating from the zipper will get tarnished, and once it's tarnished, it will not look good. It will look old and tatty, and you probably won't reach for it anymore. On to stitching. You want to ensure that the garment that you are buying has got straight stitching. So not stitching that goes all wonky at certain places. You want to make sure that it's in a straight line. This seems so obvious, but I can promise you that this is not obvious when you walk around, or rather the mistake is very obvious when you walk around in certain stores, and you'll realize if you even sometimes hold an item up, you can see that a t-shirt, for instance, or a longer style dress that I'm wearing today seems longer, and it's not by design, it's not asymmetrical design, that it seems longer on one side than the other. That is all got to do with the cutting of the fabric. Maybe the fabric got stretched while they were working with it. It can be because it wasn't sewn on correctly. So you really want to make sure that the stitching is in one nice straight line. And if you look at the loops, right, of the thread going through the fabric, if it's really nice and slightly tighter, closer to one another, that's called the stitch length. It usually means that it is of a higher quality. Reason being, it will be tighter, it will be sewn tighter to one another, so the fabric won't easily start separating, like tear open, number one. And number two, a longer stitch length means that they can sew much faster. So they will be able to push the fabric through the machine much faster if the stitch length is longer. It's not always a bad thing to have a longer stitch length. Some fabrics also need that, but it's something that you can keep an eye out for and start picking up. Continuing the idea of neat stitching, you want to ensure that you don't have any loose threads from a garment. You know, one I will still accept, but if it's plenty and it's just like almost looks like a little bit of a spider web on the garment, again, you will be surprised how often you'll be able to see this if you start looking at it. It's really an indication that that product was not made with care and attention. It will probably also not last a very long time. So I would really just avoid something like that. And then the last thing for today is fake fabrics. I've spoken about this before, and you know that this channel, or if you've been on this channel, you'll know that I love talking about fabrics. But there's a lot of fake fabrics on the market. That is where they try and imitate that of a higher quality sought after fabric by replacing it with low quality fibers that will not last and stand the test of time. Linen is a fabulous fabric, and if you look closely, you might see the difference on the fabric from the get-go, but as you wear it, you will definitely start noticing it. So once you wear it, wash it, and really live life in it, you will start noticing the difference of a fake linen versus a real linen. So that's why I always encourage my viewers to check that little label inside a garment to ensure that they are buying a high quality fabric from the get-go. Same with silk. Silk is a beautiful fabric, but there are a lot of fakes on the market, and I must say silk is an expensive fabric, but I see brands charge the exact same price with fake silk in comparison to real silk, and I am really not okay with that. If you're going to pay the price of a real silk item for something fake, then ditch the fake and rather just go for the real deal. If it's a monetary thing and you want to have a beautiful satin skirt but you can't afford silk just yet, that's fine. Go and buy something that's sewn properly, that looks like silk but it is actually not silk. I'm fine with that, but I really dislike it when brands still charge you the exact same price for a fake silk, and it's not going to be the same quality. It's not going to last nearly as long as the real deal. So I will always rather try and save up and buy one real silk item instead of 3 fake silk items. This was only a couple of things, and I can go on and on about other things that you can always look out for. So if you have some ideas and things that you've spotted in the past, please leave them down below. I'll definitely make a new video or something similar to this in the future. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. Thank you. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.